Hi, I'm Paul Johnston. Welcome to Two Wheels. And on the show this week, I take a ride on a machine which is becoming more and more popular. It's a Supermoto, this time made by German company MZ. And later, Wayne travels to the Red Bull Celebrity Trials Day, where he'll meet windsurfers, skateboarders and skiers, all having a go at trials riding under the watchful eye of the master himself, world champion Dougie Lampkin. And later we catch up with Chris, a disabled biker who still enjoys motorcycling thanks to some unique modifications which he's made to his machine. Many years ago when I worked in the city, I used a little 125cc motorbike for going to and from the office. It was a great little bike, I used it every single day, rain, hail, snow, whatever. It never let me down. And people used to say, "What do you ride?" And I'd say, "Oh, it's a little German thing." And they'd say, "Yeah, what is it?" "Oh, it's a little German 125, I'd say. The truth is, I was embarrassed to say that I rode an MZ, because many years ago MZ had the reputation that Lada had in the car world. They were the Lada of the bike world. People knew they were good, but not a lot of people like to admit to actually riding one. Well, this is one of the latest offerings from MZ, and as you can see, things have changed a bit. The MZ company itself has changed too over the years. The present setup was founded on July the 1st, 1992, but its history can be traced back more than 70 years. Way back in 1907, Danish engineer Jørgen Skafte Rasmussen started a company which actually built the first steam-powered car under the name DKW. And then some 15 years later, the first of many two-stroke motorcycles rolled off his production line. In 1932, DKW joined forces with three other companies, Audi, Horch and Wanderer, to form the Auto Union, which had a trademark of 4 rings to symbolise the merging of the 4 groups. And you'll still see that today on Audi cars. In 1945, DKW was dismantled by the Soviet Army, and then in 1956 it was rebuilt and renamed MZ. And in 1983, total output actually passed the 2 million motorcycle mark. In 1992, a private investor was found and the present company, MZ GmbH, was formed. Go on then, admit it, you never knew there was so much history attached to MZ, did you? But you'd like to know more about the bike? Well, step right this way. MZ then are doing the same as lots of other bike manufacturers these days. They're getting parts from all over the place. They certainly don't make they don't make a lot of this bike actually. But it's nothing new, that concept, is it? Because Cagiva do it. Cagiva use Suzuki engines in their Raptors. BMW, CCM and even Aprilia, they use Rotax motors. Well, the engine in this Baghira is definitely not made by MZ. In fact, it's actually made by Yamaha. Yes, this is a single-cylinder Yamaha motor, or an Einzylinder if you want the German version. It says MZ down here on the side casing there, but take no notice of that. That's what they call badge engineering these days. This is most definitely a Yamaha engine. Single-cylinder 660cc 5-valve motor. It's the same motor that Yamaha use in their XTZ Tenere, their big sort of trail bike, so it most definitely is not German. Something else that isn't German is the suspension. It's white power, and as you would expect on this style of bike or any modern bike these days, fully adjustable single monoshock there. These brakes here, they're not German either. They're Gramica calipers. It says Gramica there. Now they're made in Spain, so it's got some Spanish in it as well. There must be some German in it somewhere. Ahaha, here it is. This is the German bit. Well, it is to me anyway. It's German styling. It reminds me of a BMW. It should you as well, with this long sort of beak on the front here. It's like their 1150 GS and even the little 650 GS got a front end like this. Definitely German styling, if ever I've seen it. So by now you're probably thinking, blimey, it's a right mix up this. It's a real mongrel. It's got bits from all over the world. Japanese, Spanish, Italian, German, everything's in it. Well, if you analysed a lot of modern bikes today, you'd find that bits of them are made all over the world. Don't let that put you off, because it's not a bad thing. The Baghira Street Moto is available in 2 sizes, or should I say 2 heights. But where some manufacturers just simply cut down the seat to lower the bike, MZ actually make 2 different sizes of frame. This particular one is the short version. The taller bike is exactly the same, but with the added bonus of fully adjustable front suspension. It's available in yellow, red or black, the black one being known as the Black Panther. And there's also an off-road version, which is the same bike apart from the wheels. Instead of the 17 inches on the street moto, you'll get a 21-inch front and an 18-inch rear. And that's also 200 quid cheaper. I started off by admitting that I used to be slightly embarrassed about riding my little MZ 125 to the office and back. Well, I can honestly tell you now, and I mean this, I would not be slightly embarrassed at all about owning an MZ Baghira. It's a smashing little bike, it really is. A nice little machine to ride, dead easy to ride, very user-friendly, not madly powerful, not as powerful as some of the other bikes in this class. You think of things like CCM's R30, that's a Supermoto, similar sort of bike, similar style of engine really, still a big single-cylinder 600cc. That does feel more lively than the Baghira. But the big thing in MZ's favour is the price, because this, on the road this is now, you can put this on the road for £3,995, which is £1,500 cheaper than a CCM. And there's nothing at all embarrassing about that. If you like talking bikes, then why not join in with our bike forum? You can find it on the Men and Motors website, and here is the address. It's www.menandmotors.co.uk.
Now you probably think we've come to a trial. Well, we have come to a trial, but it's a trial with a difference. The fact is, the guys that are riding down here today are not regular trials riders. Oh no, you may have noticed that the man riding that trials bike was in fact John Reynolds, British Superbike ace. The difference is today is the guys that are riding are from all walks of sports, athletes of all types. We've got canoeists, we've got guys that do jet skiing, windsurfing, we've got other motorcyclists that do different disciplines. And they're being taught by the masters. They're being taught by Dougie Lampkin, Martin Lampkin, James Lampkin, people who are absolutely brilliant at what they do. And this is to add to our little theme, our theme of motorcyclists having a go at different disciplines. Now, as you can see, most of the lads have brought family friends and spectators with them. But at the moment, I don't think these folk are that impressed because they're wobbling all over the show. Next time they see them, and next time you actually see them, the lads will be an awful lot better because they're getting the best tuition. It's lunch break now in today's proceedings, a perfect opportunity to grab Jake Miller here, who is in fact behind the organisation of this. Tell us a bit about it, Jake. What was the format of the day, first of all?
Well, basically the format of the day is this morning we've had all the guys out, all the different athletes out on trials bikes, just sort of showing the ropes. Some guys have got motorcycle experience, you know, we've got John Reynolds here, Sean Emmett here from the British Superbike, Gary McCoy, 500 Grand Prix rider, obviously Dougie's here teaching those guys. Those guys got a little bit of motorcycle experience. We've also got people like Nick Baker, who is a windsurfer. We've got a guy who's an extreme kayaker. Got a guy who's a base jumper. All sort of other sort of.
Are they raw recruits when they arrive then?
Yeah, I think they've all done a little bit of practice because we were very impressed at the level already this morning. But
yeah.
Most of them only got road bike experience or trail bike experience. Certainly never trials experience before.
Yeah, yeah. They are all very competitive. They do not want to get egg on the face. They get in there. They go and have a go. They listen to what you guys are telling them. I've noticed that because you and James Lampkin, Martin Lampkin and Dougie, they're all giving instruction. But that's part of the day. The second part of the day, am I right, after lunch here now when they're refreshed, you've got to actually put them into a competition.
Yeah, the series starts now, the fun's over basically. If you look at the guys at lunchtime, they've been trying to psych each other. We're going to go back to basically the same sections, a few variations, but it's actually going to be marked properly like a trial, and there's trophies at the end.
The pressure's on.
Yeah, the pressure's on now. I think, you know, like I think John Reynolds is hot favourite. He's got a trials bike himself, and I think he's been doing a secret bit of practicing beforehand, so the pressure's on him, I think.
Well, there'll be more action from the Celebrity Trials Day after the break, and also still to come we catch up with Chris, the disabled biker who talks us through some of the unique modifications he's made to his machine. Hi and welcome back to Two Wheels. Still to come we meet disabled biker Chris, but first here's some more action from the Celebrity Trials Day.
So when the guys arrived this morning, basically they were given some kit to wear, a pair of boots and some trousers and shirts, and obviously a safety helmet. Then they got some tuition from the big boys, the guys who know exactly what they're doing. Basic manoeuvres in and out the section. Then it seemed to all level out. The guys who have never ridden a trials bike before, they seem to get better, and the guys who have ridden trials bike before just seem to get worse. Then it all happens, because after their lunch break, this is where they arrive, and they actually do the sections like a proper trial, where they're observed. And for those of you who don't know how that works, it's very simple. There's a man with a board and a pen, he watches their every move. If they put their foot down once, twice or 3 times, they get 1, 2 or 3 marks. If he puts his foot down loads and loads of times, but as long as the bike is moving, it's still 3 marks. But should they cock the job up completely, fall off, break the tapes, or do something dramatic that involves them stopping in the section, it's 5 marks. And at the end of the day, it's simple. The bloke who has got the least amount of points is the winner. But I believe they've got trophies for everything. That's the fella who falls off the best, the fella who's progressed the most, and maybe the man who looks the most stylish. I don't know. Last time we saw the lads, they were wobbling a bit, weren't they? But then again, they were trials virgins. But I reckon they've done an awful lot of practice, because some of them look absolutely fantastic. You can't come to a major event like this without talking to the man behind it all, really. I mean, people of all walks of life, Dougie, different disciplines, world-class riders at whatever, canoeists, jet skiers and everything, have come to be taught by you. You must be very honoured.
Yeah.
Impressed.
Yeah, we've talked about it for a while, just whenever we go and meet them at their various events, so I said, oh yeah, I'd like to have a go at trials, or I have had a go at trials and I enjoyed it, and we've always said, oh, we'll have a weekend together somewhere, and then all of a sudden things snowballed and it's turned into this, and
here we are, yeah.
It's great really, because I mean, they've got world championships at the weekend.
Yeah.
And
I can't believe half of them are having a go. Risky stuff, because you have set them some pretty mean stuff.
We've set them some good stuff, yeah. I mean, they talked a good ride anyway before they started.
Did that right?
So you have to be careful, don't you? You can't just let them have a nice, easy run.
No, true enough.
So
because they went and opened the big gobs and said, oh, I can do that. So you came out, set these sections up, which I must admit, I've looked at a few and thought, no way, Jose. But they all have a go, don't they?
Yeah, well, we started off quite steady, just a simple, not very simple, a few very big accidents, as you saw. But and then we worked our way into the wood. It's a lot more slippery in the wood, but by that time they've got a bit of throttle control and clutch control.
But these guys, being what they are, top athletes, brilliant at their own game, whatever it might be, they just seem to take to it like duck to water, don't they? Well, thanks very much for talking to us, because I know you're busy with all this lot. I think it's great that a motorcyclist, a world champion like you, 10 times, has the respect of all these other sportsmen to teach them what to do. And to think I taught you everything you know.
Well, I know, and as you always say,
often.
Everything I've ever learned has come directly from you.
I owe you some
nothing to do with bikes or anything.
No,
like
that's
that,
right. Yeah. Shh, leave it at that. Now it's the end of the day and everybody's had the tuition, Martin, and everybody has had the trial. But we can't disappear without asking the master instructor, because you've taught your dog everything he knows. Although I claim I've taught him everything he knows. You've taught guys here that have never had hold of a proper trials bike, handlebar in their life.
Yeah, but they are professional sportsmen. There was going to be no doubt at all that they were going to give it 100%.
Oh yeah.
And if you look on the tapes and the shots that you've got, everybody's concentration was unbelievable. They've all got a lot of honour, they've all got a lot of ambition, and they didn't want to be beaten by anybody.
No, I can see
so
that.
I knew it was going to be a really good day. I'm very pleased nobody's hurt themselves, because when competition gets tight and tough and the egos get a little bit higher, you know, things can go wrong, but everybody's given 110%.
I've got to ask you this question because you're a very competent, an ex-world champion in trials, a competent motorcyclist. We ask the same question to everybody. Do you believe that off-road riding is an asset to other former motorcycle disciplines?
Absolutely. The thing is, you're learning throttle control, you're learning sense of balance, you're learning how quickly things happen, which unfortunately you don't often on a road bike until something goes wrong. And it's a lot softer to land in this terrain than it is to land on the tarmac.
Very often people say to us, how can I get in touch with you guys at Two Wheels? I've got something you need to know about. It might be something bad, it might be something good, somebody deserves a pat on the back, or it might be something that you think we should feature on the show. Well, now it's dead simple, and this is how you do it. You can write to us at this address over here, Two Wheels, Men and Motors, Granada TV, Key Street, Manchester M69EA. Or you can email us at this address. It's twowheels@granadamedia.com. If it's two-wheel related, then we want to know all about it.
Now I want to introduce you to somebody of recent I've just met, and I've got a most fantastic admiration for Chris Jones here. Hi Chris, how are you doing?
Not
you
so
well
bad.
enough? Good. And the reason why I've got this admiration for him is because he's a barn pot. Not just a barn pot because he rides motorcycles wildly or anything like that, or likes an ale or two. No, nothing to do with that. The reason being is many moons ago we had a bit of a misfortune. Is that
That's
right? And you lost your leg.
Yep.
But it's not stopped you, has it?
No, not at all.
No, in fact, I think it's done something to you. It's made you even wilder and more enthusiastic because you've got 4 bikes, all altered to suit you and your disability. Although disability might not be the right word because it's not a hindrance to you anymore. You just do everything that everybody else does.
I try my best to.
You do. So tell us a bit about it. First of all, just go back a little bit. How long ago was it you had your misfortune then?
It's 5.5 years now.
Yeah.
Sometime after the accident, I decided that I'd try and see what I could do with the bikes. So I thought about adapting them and sort of went from there.
Do you find it stops you doing anything at all or not?
Not really on the bikes.
On the bikes, yeah.
It's really a case of you always have to have it in the back of your mind, especially when you're turning right at a junction.
Yeah.
Because you can't get your foot down.
No, you can't. No.
So you'll go over.
And I've noticed when you're riding your bikes, we've seen you riding your Spondon, for example. Yeah, I'm right, Spondon. The man has built a performance street fighter, for goodness sake, and adapted that to suit. You have to sort of like jump it into gear quick. You have to kick the gear lever quick and put your foot down.
Yeah. Put the false leg on first, and then you have to do a little dance on the bike to get it into first gear. It's quite easy once you've done it.
So
a few
not only
times.
is it you can ride a bike, it's not stop you dancing as well.
No.
But then on the road when you're travelling, there is absolutely no problem then. Completely just riding a bike as anybody else would do.
No problem.
Apart from, and those out there who ride a bike will understand, using your back brake.
Yep.
So what have you done to adapt this back brake problem then?
Well, I've gone various ways around it.
Yeah.
On the different bikes, each one's done differently to suit each way the bikes.
Yeah, because you've got
ridden.
4 bikes, and all 4 bikes have been altered differently. The Spondon, this is a fantastic creation, which I know you've built. Was this therapy for you, building the Spondon?
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Understandably so.
It gave me something to do over a long period of time.
When you would have been normally, well, I suppose normally you'd be sat there twiddling your thumbs
Well,
and
that's right,
brooding over your disability. But tell me a bit about your off-road bike, because I mean, riding a road bike is one thing. Riding a bike like a Spondon with performance, power and everything, especially a street fighter like this, is another thing. But riding an off-road, I have enough trouble riding an off-road bike, and I've got both legs. So how do you get on with that?
Well, the off-road bike, again, it's got a different type of adaptation on it, and that one's adapted. It's got yet again on the handlebars. It's got a Honda VTR 1000, and that's a clutch assembly.
Right, because on the left-hand side of a
handlebars.
VTR 1000 would normally be a hydraulic clutch.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah. So you've adapted what will be a clutch assembly into a brake.
And then put a brake hose all the way to the back brake on that.
Yeah.
I've been on a list with the National Association of Bikers with Disabilities, and if people in this area have this particular problem with an above-knee amputation, I'm one of the people that they can be given the number if they wish to ride a bike again. They can be given my number and I can tell them how to go about it.
Excellent.
I've also met lads at the local limb centre who've wanted to ride again and didn't think they could, and I've managed to help some of them out.
Well, when they see you riding something like your Spondon or a CBR or something like that, they must think, right, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
Well, it's just a case of putting your mind to it, really.
Yeah. Well, I think it's absolutely brilliant, the fact that you've got off your backside, gone ahead and done what you've done, achieved an awful lot, and obviously applied it to other people who need your outside assistance. So really, if you guys are out there and you've got yourself a bit of a disability and you feel that there's a big barrier in riding a bike again, having had your misfortunes, Chris is a good example, and more to the point, he will help you sort it out, and so will the people at NABD, the Association for the Bikers with Disability. And you can always get hold of us lot at Two Wheels, and we will put you in touch with Chris, and he can help you out. Chris, I wish you all the best.
Well, that's all from Two Wheels for this week, but join us next week when Jeff takes a ride on BMW's R1150R, and I travel to a very damp and very cold Preston to take a look at Honda's latest off-road fleet. And we catch up with a man who has no choice but to ride his bike through all weathers. He is, of course, a motorcycle courier.